Call to order. All members are present except for Terry Payne. Public participation.
Payne? Oh, you got it?
Kelly?
Yes. Kelly Buck, 1504 Oak Street, Kingfisher, Oklahoma. I want to refer to some of this in my presentation. It's from,
Kelly, can I have a picture?
it's from the
Thanks.
16.
Thank you.
School board, I see it as our checks and balances for Kingfisher Public Schools needs to be addressed. You have staff that will address the city of Kingfisher with real safety issues, see the quotes, without the school board's knowledge. This is the edition of 1022. See the quoted highlights. If I stole the facts when I asked them in the first place, I never would have brought this to your guys' attention. As of 4/8/24, April 8th, 2024, the city manager, Jim, I forget his last name, along with the advice of the Kingfisher Fire Department, the Kingfisher Police Department, Kingfisher Attorney, and all Kingfisher commissioners unanimously voted to this resolution of changing the mess up that I brought to your attention back in August to westbound clockwise again. It was because of commerce and the fact that there was 4 hours of the day that a delivery truck couldn't legally turn off of Oak onto 10th Street. That was resolved. I would have never come to you with that issue if I'd have been told the facts straight up front whenever I asked. But I was sent on when the police asked if I would help move a vehicle to help with the backed up traffic that went to I said sure, but the traffic problem was everything coming down Oak. At that point, I went back to him. He sent me the administration sent me the principal sent me the city sent me the school board. Been going around and around. You guys can read quotes here from October 16th, 2022. You guys didn't know anything about it. You know, you probably didn't know about the special meeting called by Jim T, their city manager, at the administration building on February 29th, Thursday, 8:30. Jim called it a come to Jesus meeting, and I had better be ready. I still am. I wanted to know why kids were being unloaded in the middle of the street on Warner. I still wanted to know that. Now, with traffic flow the way it is, it can't happen. It shouldn't happen. As I said, it was resolved by our city manager. Last thing I hope is that David Glover, I hope he'd make better decisions for our kids. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Mr. President, I'll waive my 3 minutes.
Okay. Honors and recognitions.
None.
Discussion, possible action on the minutes of the May 6, 2024 special board meeting.
I make a motion we approve those minutes as listed.
I'll second.
All those in favor? Motion passes. Discussion, possible action on the following: general fund encumbrances, co-op fund encumbrances, building fund encumbrances, child nutrition fund encumbrances, bond fund encumbrance, change order listing in general co-op and child nutrition, the treasurer's report, activity fund, custodian report.
Is the change order portion just end of the year?
Where's that, Brad?
Is the change order, is it's a sizable amount, is that just end of year, closing stuff out, or?
Yes. That's the question, where is it? I paid everything, see it.
Going back.
I think that's why there's some level funding, 10 cents and stuff like that. Just
Change
getting it
order
all.
listing is 1.6,
Yeah.
is negative. That's not any one certain big thing that's,
Oh, no,
oh,
no.
says we unencumbered 518 on Gilmore. And then the special education reimbursement,
That's what we're waiting on.
okay.
Some of what we're waiting on from the feds.
Did we get all the lunch overdue stuff taken
No.
care of?
No. Still working on that. That's a tough.
Right, and I'm saying that if it doesn't get paid, then we just.
Read.
Okay.
There's not much else you can do, just hope people will pay the bill.
Okay. I don't have any other questions.
No, I don't think so.
No, I'm just,
I move that we accept item E, line 1 through 8.
I'll second.
All those in favor? Motion passes. F, discussion and possible action on the recommendation to approve the following agreements. 1, Chatter Matter LLC, Speech Services. 2, Speak Life SLP Services LLP, Speech Services. Vicky Stone, PT, Physical Therapy Services. Precision Testing Laboratories, Asbestos. Till Oswald, School Psychologist.
All of these, I believe, the only one that's not will be Vicky.
That's the one I don't recognize.
Yeah, the only one that's not, she's new on physical therapy. Precision testing is, they got the market corner, we have to do that a lot every year. And the rest of them are service used.
Is Vicky Stone, are we adding?
Now,
She's replacing, okay.
We've got those contracts.
Do you guys have any more questions?
Did the other physical therapy services just not available, or?
We're just making a change. It's a financial thing. They want to work with us.
I make a motion, we approve item F, 1 through 5.
Second.
All those in favor? Motion passes. G, discussion possible action on the resolution for lease renewal 130536300, lease purchase agreement with F&M Bank, Edmond, Oklahoma.
That's our turf lease.
How many years is that?
is it just saying we're making a payment?
Just making them.
How many years is that?
That's one we paid on, and this be number 2.
So there'll be one more.
Okay.
I'll make a motion, we approve item G.
I'll second.
All those in favor? Motion passes. Discussion, possible action on the recommendation to renew district insurance coverage contract with Oklahoma School Insurance Group, OC.
Okay, I met with Mr. Chief today, who's our local agent, that we handle things between us and OSIG. OSIG is going up this year another 10%. He said things are really bad in Oklahoma, with all the storms and things, he said if we have another spring next year like we had this year, he said there's a good chance like Allstate will pull out of Oklahoma. And that's just his, he's just guessing things. But I do have the contract, it's kind of it's where we are. I mean, there's not a whole lot we can do. Pat is working though. They raised our deductible to $50,000. Pat is working on another company. He's which doesn't really have anything to do. We can approve the OSIG contract tonight, which we need to do. Pat's going to continue though to work on. He's reached out to a lot of insurance companies trying to get something with a lower deductible. It was $10,000 one time with OSIG. And now it's up to $50,000. And so I want to make you aware of that. And then I don't know how we can put it into a motion, but he has another proposal here that I think is kind of a no-brainer. Him and I met a couple of weeks ago about all of our equipment, our mowers and our tractors and our just, the work pickups and all those type of things. Because if they fall under the OSIG umbrella, that's a $50,000 deductible right now. And you're gonna have a mower worth $50,000. But he does have a company here that will take on our commercial properties, our equipment, and they have a $10,000 deductible on theirs. And so Pat, I kind of recommend that we go with it. It's outside the OSIG umbrella.
Does that change our premium with OSIG?
It probably won't because it's not. We don't have enough equipment that's going to make any difference.
We don't have to list equipment or anything on.
I've got it all. I've got it all listed. Not an OSIG. We don't have to.
Okay.
Okay.
So would this company cover like school buses, or is that
No.
just
our like I said, our tractors and our front end loader and those kind of things, which we have a pretty substantial list of those, believe it or not. But, the maintenance trucks now that we're using for maintenance, those go under that. I think it's the thing to do for that stuff, because you get a mower, we got a brand new John Deere mower that's worth, you guys bought it before I came, if you remember, it's well over $10,000. It's what we paid for it. So it might be worth.
What's the premium for that?
The premium for this is $4,972.
Was there any more talk, the state was talking about, this is an issue at the state, that there's just now one covering schools.
OSIG is it.
I know. Where did that go this year at the state level?
We had a gentleman come speak to us at one of our county superintendent's meetings at the office from Weatherford, that he was kind of, owns an insurance company that was kind of looking into doing something different than OSIG. That's the thing, ironically, that OSmart was supposed to do, was supposed to give them OSIG a little bit of competition. And of course, we know the story on that, just liquidated. But right now, OSIG is the only game in town. And they're not, they don't, I know these guys, a lot of them on the OSIG board. It's not like they want to, they're not doing it as much as the insurance companies that go into OSIG are raising rates, so they have to raise rates. They fight for us. But it's just right now, it's an uphill battle with insurance rates. I wish there was, in a way, I wish there was an alternative thing to do. Right now, there's not. So my recommendation would be to approve the OSIG contract and maybe the commercial property agreement. If y'all want to keep everything with OSIG, that's okay too. And again, just remember, Pat's working. He's working pretty hard to get our deductible down. outside of OSIG is what the deductible would be. I don't know, I'm not an insurance guy, maybe there's somebody here that is, but I'm sure not. That stuff gives me a headache. But Pat seems to think if he can find it, that would be something maybe at the June 24th meeting I'm ready to do.
So what would the coverage be covering for the small equipment? Like, is it
Replacement?
Replacement, theft,
like if it breaks down, it doesn't fix it, it doesn't do it?
no.
Yeah.
Like Pat said, he's an agent for some farmers that their barn will get cleaned out, of equipment.
I just think, in my opinion, if that's $12,000 mower and you have a $10,000 deductible, you really not worth making the claim.
Good point. But
So
$50,000, you sure don't want to.
Well, but if it gets blown away, chances are the building it was in got blown away too, right?
Well, the question I have would be like the vehicles and some of that, but more on so if you took the tractor, so say a tractor and somebody's driving it and they get hurt, does those things still cover that? Like you need, if it's covering damages, like if you don't, huh?
Yeah, that's what I say, if you guys want, I'm okay with whatever.
Like if
Well,
those,
it's
if
something
somebody
that
gets,
we
somebody
could
gets hurt,
review and, the policy and what.
Yeah, I think we can come back to 24th because we haven't started the next fiscal year yet.
And get a
Yeah.
better look at what all that coverage is
Yeah.
and
Because we can still, because, we won't start on the next fiscal year till July 1. So, okay.
and so the premium dates are July 1
Uh-huh.
to the end.
Yeah, the premium, just FYI, if you don't want to sleep tonight, is 600,000 plus a year. For our,
If you guys are okay with
You wanna
delaying
take-
the one,
you wanna
then
take
I'll-
it?
well, we need to do
well, I'm
this.
saying, if you
You
guys
wanna
are
do
okay
the
with that
SA
one,
and
then
then
I'll
take
make a
the-
motion to approve item G
Okay.
as it is.
And really, there's not an
I'm
item
sorry,
for the other
item
one anyway.
H.
yeah,
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve item H as it's.
I second.
all those in favor.
Okay, as written.
Motion passes.
Very good. Okay.
Uh,
Send us
Discussion,
some information on what the other one covers for.
Okay,
Okay.
will do.
discussion possible action to close the activity fund account and reimburse the general fund in the amount of $927.
I'll make a motion to approve item I.
I second.
All those in favor? Motion passes. J, discussion, possible action on issuing additional payment on the settlement of the Mecklenburg versus Kingfisher Public Schools.
If I could speak to that, I've been working and along with Don and Pam, and this is a tough time of year in the school biz because, we are looking, Pam ran a report for me the other day, everything on our collections is down. Gross production was down exactly, almost to the penny, 50% from a year ago. Everything from the revenues at CAG, farm stamp, everything was down, pretty substantially. With that being said, and with some of the projects that we were able to complete for the school system, right now we're looking at 3.5 as a fund balance. Now that's without our salary incentive aid, which Wednesday I'll find out more on that about when state, the legislature just approved it as a supplemental on the budget for the schools that are off the formula, which we're one of the 40, I think, schools that are off the formula. We estimate that at 600,000 plus. Okay, I've got another gross production that's going to come in, June 10th. If that stays, that's another 300 and some thousand. If it stays consistent to what it's been doing, that's a new collection. Plus, we're waiting on our IDEA or our federal monies to come that, we spend it and then we claim it and then the feds send us the money. And everybody kind of hangs on that money as long as they can. But we anticipate getting it before the 24th. And so, you know, with all that being said, you know, if it all comes in, we're looking at close, which I'm very proud of, around 5 million plus. You know, we're right at 5 million, maybe just under. So my recommendation to you all, if we could, table this until the 24th. We still have time on the 24th for y'all to make a decision. You know, that way we know, we go from an estimate to pretty solid, you know, in our numbers. You understand what I'm saying? If, you know, this is your all's call on that, I really don't have a recommendation one way or another, okay? But if you want to discuss tonight, you can. I just don't want to gamble that we don't get the salary and incentive aid by June 30th. Okay, I think we should. They said we were, but
Well, I think are they gonna continue to do this to us every year?
yes,
So we're going to pay the money,
Except we'll be on
Every-
formula next year, right?
but
yeah.
we'll be back on the formula, right?
So it'll be figured in.
Be another year. We're not going to be back on it this year.
Okay.
So we're going to go through the very same thing next year, where we're gonna pay the salaries, but they're gonna hold the money.
Yeah, but I think I believe it's budgeted in next year.
Well, I believe all of the schools that are on the state aid have already received their money.
Yes.
Well, they
yes,
received their
have.
money.
They
Yeah.
mandated the raise,
Yeah.
but they paid the schools that are on
What
state
they
aid.
did is
But
they
they
put it
pay
into the
us.
formula, and those of us that are off the formula just didn't get it. It was kind of an oversight, but it was a real battle
Yeah.
to get them to add that to, you know, as a supplemental so that we could get that money. I don't understand why that was such a hard fight, but our lobbyists and stuff really had to fight for us to get it, so, yeah, we do. We pay it up front, and then again, we wait on the reimbursement. And that's a good raise for teachers. I'm glad the
Oh,
teachers
yeah,
got it.
absolutely.
But you know, that's gonna, with burdens and everything, that's over, I know it's, I think like 620,000, something like that, you know, for us. So, yeah, we're counting on that.
So my question, so you said 620, but you're expecting a $5 million carryover?
Well, that, we think there'll be 600,000 plus also in federal monies. Then I've got the, you know, like I said, some of the local things, the gross production things still coming in. So we're gonna get close to that.
So if we're talking about 4.4 million, then what would be the reason not to discuss maybe making at this meeting to go? I mean, is there more than the 600,000 that affects that 5 million?
We
Or is
may
it
not
just-
get the 600,000 though.
Well,
Right,
it's
so then we
just,
got 4.4 million carryover, we still need to look at making a payment, in my opinion.
I mean, by
again, that's,
the end of this month, we'll have firmer numbers. Because we meet twice in June.
I understand that, I do. Just saying like we can table it, but like if we have some plans, it's kind of what we're thinking about doing, like if
yeah,
the
you
money
want
comes
to
in, like
discuss
if
it
we
all,
have,
yeah.
if we're saying that we're worried about 600,000 over $5 million, we still could, like, my deal, I mean, just to be convenient, I asked that this be put on the agenda, I sent an email, and I asked that this be put on the agenda. Part of that is that I think the school needs to do its best. Let me back up. The board has made every intention in our discussions of trying to pay this in full over a 3-year period. When we were discussing how we could do it, if we could make those payments, we were going to look at each year and see if we could make the payments in advance. And then that got taken away by not being able to do that, right? So this month will be our last chance to make a payment. And so I think that there should be some very serious, and I guess, you know, there should just be some very serious discussion that says that, hey, are we going to help facilitate this and cover this cost, or if we're just going to shrug it off. I'm not a fan of taking that much money into and not at least making a payment on it. So my part on it was I was hoping to come in here and make a suggestion that we pay at least another 1.25 on that payment to at least pay half of it, to at least pay half of the debt. But I don't know how you guys feel about that. So like a 1.25 on top of you know, 4.4, we still have the carryover because we don't get the ability to go from there. So I don't know how firm the 5 is to go from there. And I don't know how you guys feel about whether we vote on it tonight or we vote on it the 24th. I think that it's good to have some discussion as to what the school is if the school is leaning towards, or if you are recommending that if it comes in that what type of, how we do assist this, how we do assist this settlement. Is there any inclination on that?
The only way we can assist is what you're talking about. I mean, that's the only way that I know we can. I mean, we still got to be able to, to operate and do the things we need to do up here for our kids right now. And that's the thing that's my concern. Teachers, same thing. When we were talking today, we give the teachers, $100 classroom every year. $100 for their classroom. Well, not at all. I just want to make sure that we're covered salary-wise for the first couple of months, and we've done a good job this year of being able to take care of some things and still be pretty healthy.
So when I came in, I didn't ask for it again, I should have, but when we came into last month's, this showed that our total expenditures, so if I recall the year, we had 15 million projected income. We had $8 million of carryover. We came in last month, the spreadsheet that was sent showed that our total expenditures expected was 23,059,000, which would be the total of that 15 million plus 8 million. So with these changes, the change orders, what does that do for that total expenditures? I should have requested a new sheet, but what does that do for the total expenditures?
Well,
or what
the
is
thing we look at right now, Brad, is what are we going to have at the end of the year in reserve?
Correct.
Okay, and that's the main thing that I look at, and the ladies that handle the money look at, is just what are we going to have in reserve. And if the board's wishes are to pay 1.25, I'll make it work. We may have to tighten our belt up here at the school on some things and not do some things, but that's okay if we need to do that. Okay, so I don't know what our estimate of needs. I see we have an exercise board down here tonight. Hi, Gene. Don't cover up your eyes. I don't know what they're going to do to us or do to me, but no, it's all good. It's just I don't think it's a bad idea. I just want to make sure we can still have school. That's what's important to this guy, is that we can still operate and have school. And so if it's the board's pleasure, to pay 1.25, David Glover's not going to stand in the way of that, okay? I want to make that clear. I'm okay, and we'll make that work. I would just like, the only thing is I would like to see the hard numbers and make sure, if you say, okay, we got 3 million, 3.5 right now, okay, that we know. All right, and we're going to get the federal money, we always do. And I trust our legislature in that they're going to come through too with the money they owe us. And then, like I said, we still got another round of the local money, the gross production. And I don't expect it to be any lower than 300-some-thousand like it's been all year long. But so that's all going to add to that pot. So at the very worst, 1.2, that's going to give us 1.2 right there, at least. Okay. So you see what I'm saying? That's the number that, as a board, you all need to be concerned about, is that reserve fund, because that's what we operate on going into the next year. Okay, for a couple of months anyway. And so but I talked to Dawn, talked to Pam. We'll make it work if that's the board's pleasure. We'll make it work.
But you don't really have any idea that from the May meeting till now, the May meeting till now, what this 23 million total expenditures is at with these changes? Or with the addition of the changes? Is it still at 23?
Yeah, it's the same as it was, yeah.
Even though we unencumbered those things, it's still over
Those
23
just go,
million?
the unencumbered, and that just goes to the reserve.
And the 23 that was on here does not include a second payment on the settlement, and it does not include any stipends for teachers, right?
No, it does
But you're
not.
pretty comfortable that we would have a base of at least 3 million in carryover?
Real comfortable with that number. I'm pretty comfortable with the other number. I mean, I really am. I mean, we shut down spending the last 4 months. Maintenance and transportation, they keep coming to me going, when can we start spending money again? I said, when I tell you can, But you can tell we had 19 general fund expenditures, over the last month, and that's just things we had to have. Like I said, I just want to have school for kids.
How would we find out what the payment would need to be to cover the first year's payment so that nobody sees anything at the end of this year?
Will be 1.25.
Be
Well,
another
we need
third?
to pay it all off?
No. So
Just
if
the
it goes
first
over
year.
3 years, then it'd be 1.25 each time, right? So if we paid 1.25, then it would almost basically delete,
It would delete a year of it,
it would delete the first year.
Now, I don't know if that would go out over 3 years, that smaller number, or if it would reduce it to 2. I don't know how
Sure,
that
we
would
just
work.
send the 1.25 to the same place we sent the first 1.25, which, by the way, was paid out of the general fund. It wasn't paid wasn't taken from our CD. And so we just send that to the same bank probably that we did the first part, and then I find out how that would work for taxpayers. But it would certainly, yeah.
So in my opinion, guys, basically in this deal, that if the vote to settle was an effort to try to do what was felt at the time to be the best to the school district. That was followed by trying to find a way to not pass this on to the, I want to say that to everybody, like, the goal was not to just pass this on to the community. The goal of the board was to say that can we pay this over 3 years? We had some conversations. I went up to the assessor's office. I think we had a phone call with them, is that right? And basically they were saying, hey, can we just make a payment each month or each year in October, November, and fix it into our budget each year. So our goal was to absorb that ourselves and not pass that on to the landowners or to the property owners. However, that was basically taken back by a previous AD opinion that says that you can't use general fund to pay tax
You can't
money.
use future money to pay past debts.
Yeah,
So that took our ability to pay it over the certain years.
right.
So I would be of an opinion that we still maintain that effort to make the payment. And since we can't, I think that we could make a payment that could do it right now. Or another option that can go through is that, or that could be the case, is that in talking today, actually, just on some options. So if we changed our millage, if we talked to the excise board and changed our millage, it would be no different than paying it. But if we met with the excise board on our millage, the money that goes into, we keep the same millage. But if the school board meets with the excise board and says we're going to change some of that millage and put that into a, if we could take our millage, like let's say we get 36 mil into our general fund, we could take some of that out of our general fund and tell them to appoint that to the.
Brad, that's going to affect our budget.
It is going to affect our
Yeah,
budget,
it's
but when
going
you
to
take
take about $1
that,
million less.
right, which would be no different than making the payments ourselves.
Well,
So if we went and met with them and we took the millage and we changed it from our general fund to our sinking fund, then the money would be in the sinking fund to make the payment, and we wouldn't have to, it would be no
this is a
different than us
very
making
big
the
year
payment.
for us. Because this is the year we have to get by being off the formula. This is the year We have to be able to function off the formula. In one more year, if things stay the same, you know, after the election, everybody said, well, let's just wait till the election's over, things are gonna take off again. Well, I mean, I don't go to casinos for the same reason, because I always lose. This next year, taking money away again from our budget, this scares me. Okay, that's just me being very transparent and honest. Okay, that scares me for our district and for our teachers and for our kids. And that's what, I had a guy come to my office after the last excise board meeting and basically tell me that's what they were gonna do, whether I liked it or not. I knew, Judy, wasn't that me? Better not be. But, you know, I mean, that can, but we gotta be able to operate. I mean, we still got kids. We got 1,400 kids that don't care about lawsuits, you know? And I don't know what 1.25 left over would do to our taxpayers. I don't know what that impact would be.
What, say it again, you don't know?
Well, I don't know what if we pay another 1.25,
Mhm.
okay, then whatever's left over is about, I guess, 1.7.
2.5.
1.
Well, if the assessors would take it and apply it all to the first payment, then it would basically make almost null, so that they wouldn't see an increase in the first year.
Okay.
I'm just saying, like, I don't know if the
But we're not
assessors
gonna,
take it.
but that money's gonna disappear from our budget. That's, when that goes with our auditor.
He's not talking about the millage right now, he's talking about if we make a payment.
The 1.25.
Yeah, I mean,
If we make a 1.25 payment now, then there doesn't seem like there'd be much of a reason in the first year to do it, because nobody would see an increase in the first year.
right. Right, but there'll still be that tax burden next year.
Right.
I guess my point is, I don't know why, I mean this lovingly, Jeannie, okay? Well, I know you're on that board, but I don't know why the board would want to do that to kids.
Well, if
Okay, I
I'm
don't know why we, as much as I understand, I just want to make sure.
If I'm being transparent in this, we spent $23 million on our own this year without any, we had to carry, we had it, and we spent $23 million without a second payment and without a single teacher stipend. Like, I feel like we spent a lot of money. And I think even if you add up the tax, the lawyer fees, the first initial payment, and Gilmore, you still take that money away. That's not, I mean, maybe what, like $4 million. We still spent $19+ million, and so we spent a lot of money. And so I don't know where that is, but I feel like if we're going to carry that, if we spent that money and we're going to carry that much over, in my opinion, we need to make a payment on this.
Again,
That's
your
just
own
my
fault.
opinion of making
So
that.
I'm confused about because we have our budget in there, you're including our budget in that too?
Our budget into,
That includes our salaries and everything?
this does include everything, yes.
Yes, okay,
Yes.
okay.
And it jumped all the way to where we budgeted 15 million in projected income. Have we reached that 15 million yet? Yes. Okay. We had $8 million in carryover, which was $23 million.
Right.
I went in at least 4 times and I said, we cannot spend this much money, and I was assured that we would not. I was assured we would not spend that much money. And I come in and we have not made a second payment, and we have not made a single stipend to teachers, and we have spent the full $23 million. And so, to me, that looks like if the money's gonna be there, then we're gonna spend it. And I'm not trying to be the bad guy here, but I don't believe that that money should have been spent. And if we have money, I don't wanna carry over all this money and not make a payment to help the community. If we agreed that we're gonna have a settlement, then we need to help pay for that settlement. Whatever that looks like. I don't care if we do a millage piece or if we do payment, or if we do a payment to cover the first year and we discuss what our budget is and do millage later to try to cover that.
The 23 million that we spent this year, you voted on spending that same fund.
You're right, and I was wrong. You're right, and I was wrong. It was my first year to put a budget together, and it showed 23 million, and I was asking questions on how this worked. I was told that it should be, and you're right, and I won't do it again. I will not put the full carryover. You're right, I didn't know. You're exactly, and so the blame is on me too, but I'm saying that I also, after that meeting and I figured it out, I went in and I asked 4 times, and was told we weren't gonna hit that number, and we were in that number
But
last
part of
month.
that is from the building fund, from the ag barn. We built a locker room, we remodeled the concession stand, we remodeled the Gilmore. So it's not,
I understand.
It won't get spent next year because it's already
Yeah.
been done.
Gilmore's not done.
I don't know, Gilmore's
But
not
we're at a
big.
point where it's, I mean,
close.
we've solved that.
In my opinion, I'm not, again, not trying to be bad guy, I just don't think that that much should have been spent without a stipend being budgeted, at least one, or a
We also,
payment being made.
we also do we pay their retirement, and that would be in that too.
Correct. Correct. And again,
And that's a
but we did that
million.
last year too.
Right, no, I'm just saying that's
And
just.
so
the
I
answer.
feel, I'm kind of like up here as the bad guy. I'm not trying to be the bad guy, but I'm the guy that's in the reality, like, we all made a deal that we were gonna try to make this payment. Like, we were all gonna try to make the payment over these years. This is the first year. We do have a chance this year. We may not in future years. But I think that we need to, if we're gonna do, I don't know what, I mean, the 1.25 would be the principal. I don't know what the interest would be. But I think that if we paid
There
the
shouldn't be any
1.25,
interest as of yet, right?
I wouldn't think so. I wouldn't think so.
I think what I would like, this is again my opinion, I would like to see what the gross production comes in at the 10th.
Yes.
We should get that. I would love to see the state pay us at least 600,000 that they owe us.
I'll send you all that.
And get the federal money in before I'm comfortable making a decision.
I'm fine with voting on the 24th. I just don't want to come the 24th and not have some
Oh, no,
ideas.
we'll be prepared.
Like, I have some
24th.
ideas as to how we do this, and I feel strongly that we need to make, and we can go talk to the assessors and say, well, will you apply all of this to the first year? Because it gives us the ability to work with the excise board or try to do stuff in future years if we need to, based on what we have to make that happen, to where that we can still have a hope of making this happen. And I understand that we have to take care of the kids. I do. I understand that the kids have to be here. It's unfortunate, this whole situation. So that we're all in, so we have to make the best of it on where we are. But I think that we need to come, I would say that I come very strongly that we need to make at least, especially if we're gonna have those numbers, we need to make at least a 1.25 to cover the first year before we lose our ability to make payments to that board.
Understand. That's
If
why I said
you
that
guys,
here.
do you guys wanna think on
I
that
can
and
make
look
it
at it
work.
and ask questions and how that happens, I'm fine with that. But I feel very strongly that we need to ante up ourselves as much as we can. And I think everybody at this table felt the same whenever we had these discussions from December settlement till now. So I'm fine with tabling it as long as it's on the agenda
I'll have.
For the 24th.
That's the plan.
to finalize the decision. And if we do the 24th, then we have the ability to execute that before the 30th.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, we can.
I mean, as
Yeah,
long as
we
they
just
make
cut
a
a
motion
check.
to,
Yeah,
I mean, that would be encumbering the
I
money.
mean, we'll just recover the money, cut a check, send it to the same place we sent the first one, and then talk to our assessor, tell them what we've made another payment. So, I will need to talk probably, I don't know how that affects the wording of the settlement. I don't know if we need to have an amendment or something like that. You know, on this, I'll do some groundwork on that.
On the judgment?
Huh?
On the judgment?
Mhm.
Okay.
No, on the settlement itself, because it's worded that we pay 1.25 to school and the rest goes on the tax roll. So I just need to get the attorneys involved.
I do understand that it takes it from the kids, and that's the unfortunate situation of this whole deal. And that was from the get-go, from the start of this whole deal, that it was gonna take away from the kids. And so, we're just gonna have to play in the sandbox that we're dealt and go from there. And so, as you said, if we have to tighten up our belt, but I think that we need to very strongly, we need to try to do what we can on that. I'm fine with, I don't know if we have to make an action, but
Yeah.
I'm fine with postponing that to the 24th meeting, as long as it's on the agenda. I'll make a motion to table item J till the 24th.
Yeah, it'll be there.
All those in favor,
It'll be.
motion passes.
And anything I get, board, between now and then, I'll let you know. Okay?
Okay, discussion, possible action on adding junior high soccer as an extracurricular activity.
Okay, I did a cost analysis on it. We did a survey, got a lot of interest, and like I think I emailed you all, our high school soccer team is really the only team. We've got tennis and golf. I've talked to the golf coaches. There's not a lot of junior high golf played there, or tennis, but there is a lot of junior high soccer being played. And it's kind of something that we can use to help our high school soccer teams, get the kids kind of like basketball, football, everybody else has one. The cost analysis that Mr. Carrington and I put together, we're going to $7,000 for 2 head coaches and diesel to get the ball games. But other than that, they're going to try to have some fundraisers, take care of their. We're only going to play 5 regular season games this first year, 1 tournament, just kind of see how things go. But the high school coaches came to me about it last year, and I put them off. I made some calls. Like schools our size, a lot of them are playing junior high soccer. So, and then we did the survey at the Q with the 6th graders, and the survey up here was pretty well. Chris, yes. There's quite a bit of interest. And these are kids that they don't run track, they don't do, they just have an interest in it. So.
Well, I think it's good, because I think a lot of them age out of youth soccer out here, and then there's a gap, and they may come back or they may not. So I think it fills that gap in between.
So I appreciate the support on that.
Is the main cost just a couple extra duty on coaches?
2 head coaches, and right now I don't really have, I don't know if they'll need an assistant. It's going to kind of depend on that.
Boys and girls?
Yeah, we're going to do it boys and girls, because there's no way they can go out there and be like herd cats.
And then jerseys?
I talked to the coaches about that.
High school bought all new jerseys.
They've got pretty good stuff that they're not using at the high school level. So again, the financial analysis I did was just stop.
And we have potential candidates on staff already that can do that?
We did. People excited about it.
Good. That looks great. I'll make a motion, we approve item K. That'll be for the 24-25 year?
That'll be next year. Thank you. And I've had some folks say, well, I got a phone call, what about volleyball? Why can we do volleyball? Why can't we do this? It's not that we're adding something just to be adding. We're adding something that's going to help our high school. And so you can add stuff all the time, but it's not. Yeah, so it's hard to explain, but they get it eventually.
I'll second it.
Oh, what's it?
All those in favor? Motion passes. Item L, discussion and possible action on the recommendation to allow the following fundraisers.
Mr. President, I'd recommend you don't need to read those. I think everybody can read them.
I'll make a motion, we approve item L, let's put it on there.
And I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Thank you.
If you're okay with that, Charles.
Superintendent report.
Hey, I brought the principals, I'm going to give them the 24th off. Pretty slow time, but I told them that today in our staff meeting, they need to get hooked up and come one more time and
Appreciate that.
let them know what their plans are, but I told them they need to come on the 24th. So we'll start with Mr. Harris. He's over the rest for the evening.
Not a lot going on. We just wrapped up the school year with our senior awards night. That was about 2.5 hours long. Paul up Left and Well always does a great job with that. Graduation, thank the board for that. That was not 2.5 hours long, and we couldn't have stuffed another body in that gym. I promise you, it was a lot, and we need to be thinking, Mr. Glover and board, what we're going to do when that freshman class gets up 135, because not sure it's going to work. But man, we're trying to finish up staffing right now. We're working on our master schedule. That's about it.
I don't know, do you have offhand the number of I heard a number of the amount of awards given out at the.
At the senior thing,
3 million plus, I think.
monetarily?
Yeah.
Yes, it was like 3.2 million.
As far as what was offered.
Scholarships and
Yes.
stuff.
And I want to give John and Paula, Tracy Boucher also kudos, graduation. Every school I've been in, I've been so blessed that graduation is a ceremony. You know, it starts off as a ceremony and ends as a celebration. That's fine, you know, kids, we didn't really know the streamer gowns were gonna come out, at least I didn't. I don't know if the high school principal knew that or not, but I just love our graduation. And we have one of our Hall of Fame members here tonight that was inducted. I should have recognized you earlier. But I've heard so many good things about her, and I heard she wants to come back, so I'm going to mess with her. Oh, but it was a great night, and the awards night was just, I just loved it. Those center kids, and you know, everybody thinks, oh, just historical kids, school's just not like it used to be. Well, yeah, it is. Sit out there and watch how many awards our kids get, how many scholarships they get, how many, you know, it's just, Kingfisher's just a special place. It's been a special place for a long time, and it still is. And I was proud of the whole thing, and thank you for live stream. We were kind of packed.
It was 1.9 accepted, 2.2 not accepted, so almost 4.2.
Almost 4.2.
And I think some have been awarded since graduation. They're right there.
Yeah, because there was some that they didn't give out.
Well, you got a kid going to Notre Dame.
Yeah, it was a big.
That's a big deal, big deal. So, and we didn't make a big enough deal out of it, but, you know, we got a young man who got the Gates Scholarship. For goodness sake, he's gonna make more money than me. Going to college, you know, he gets paid mileage back and forth. I mean, the long boy, what's his first name? Andrew. Just sharp as a tack. That's an unbelievable college scholarship that he got. You know, what is it? How many is it, Dr. J? They get awarded that? 17 nationally?
That sounds about right.
Out of hundreds and hundreds of applicants. That's pretty good kudos to Kingfisher America. So
While we're on our level, Dr. Johnson, he just returned from Boys State, where Kingfisher brought 31 representatives. 31. I mean, there was a big write-up on it. Could you speak a little bit to that?
Certainly.
Well, I know, another note, the American Legion, we had some kids get exceptional scholarships through that too, right?
Yeah, yes.
What was the increase from last year on that? How many kids did you take?
7 last year.
Well, we did things differently this year.
Okay.
We sponsored the whole county.
Oh,
So we had 31 from the entire county, 18 from Kingfisher High School.
nice.
And I might point out that you mentioned the scholarships from last year. Because of the esteem the Boys State has held around the nation, the kids get about $100,000 worth of offers just because they attended Boys State. $12,000 just if they want to go to Rogers State. As I said, we had 18 from Kingfisher. The total of 31 accounted for almost 10% of the total number that went to Boys State. So they were pleased to see that. We also had 10 staff members, which was about 10% of the staff. It was an exceptional session. Really great kids. Dawson Leffingwell was the band director, put on again another whale of a concert. These are kids that they get there at noon on Saturday, and they play the national anthem in Oklahoma that evening for evening colors. And they have about an hour to get together and practice. It's just an extraordinary group of kids. You may have also heard we had a tornado, and that was quite an event. Fortunately, the cafeteria that we used had a basement large enough to get everybody in. That turns out to be a bonding exercise as well. They really felt good about each other. The tornado was, they should call it a miracle. It was approaching the college. It lifted and went over the college, and it came back down again. Maybe because it's on a hill, I don't know meteorology, but it was quite an extraordinary event. It lost power for a little over a day, and we just made it work. I was proud of our staff, proud of our kids. You mentioned Andrew. Andrew went as a videographer, He hadn't done much videography before, but he came back having learned not to be a videographer. And we had several people who were professionals there who taught him about editing, and so he just did a well of a job for us. So Kingfisher was very well represented, is very well known in the American Legion, not only for the American Legion projects, but also for the support of Boys State. The school also allowed us to use a bus to transport the kids, and me to use a Suburban to transport my supplies. They referred to me as Dr. Johnson's house of everything. So, anyway, appreciation to the board and the administration for the support.
Well, thank you for helping put that together.
Chris, what's junior high report?
Well, kind of like John, we had a successful 8th grade promotion. Went very well. Had a ton of people attend, and then later that day, we also had our 7th grade awards. Our custodians have been busy cleaning our floors, waxing our floors. They've shampooed carpets. So getting the school clean, a deep clean, getting it ready for the next school year. And then Ms. Slozicki and I have been busy working on next year's schedule.
Lisa, Ms. Meyer?
We ended our year with our award ceremony. Recognized a bunch of kiddos. Ended the year well, and now same thing, waxing, we're painting. STARS has begun, and so we have a large group. We have about 70 kiddos, and so that's going well. This week in our gym, we've got the girls basketball team, so that's fun. So other than that, we're just preparing the same thing. Chris and I are working on the schedule, doing reports, things like that, but just moving right along. Had a great first year.
Who's next? Twiggy? Ms. Phillips?
So all of the same thing that they just said, we did. I know I didn't get to go first and say all the things, but we ended our year great. We had classroom awards as well. We had all of our picnics and our pre-K luau. We were excited to welcome some of our students back last week for summer school. We started last week, and it's a joy to see them and have them in our building. It's really quiet when they're not there. And we're also doing the same thing, doing all the cleaning and getting ready for next year. Ms. Dina and Ms. Rita are working very hard with that. And just closing out the year, doing reports and making plans for next year.
Y'all don't recognize the next person, Miss Michael with short hair.
Okay, this is very exciting. We had awards. We had some field trips. We did have our very first field day at the Q, and it was awesome. It was so much fun. The kids had a blast. We had a ton of parent volunteers, so it was really nice to see our parents coming and helping, which allowed our teachers to participate instead of just supervise. They were able to play with the kids and have fun. So that was really cool. Our 5th grade had their Living History Museum. And then this summer, finishing up reports, STARS, an extended school year is going on for our Take Flight program and our speech services for those that need it. Our maintenance, painting, waxing, all the things. Working on that master schedule, which is a challenge when we have 5 buildings and we're sharing PE teachers. That's been my biggest challenge this go round. Then as far as curriculum goes, our secondary has decided on our math textbook for math textbook adoption next year. They're going to be using Savas for 6th grade through 12th. And then elementary is going to be adopting Wonders. And also, next year's our first year to be required to implement the new state standards for technology. And that's pre-K all the way up through 12. And I'm gonna say something nice about the State Department of Education. The tech standards are very common sense. They're great. They really are appropriate and age appropriate and developmentally appropriate, which is really great to see. So we're adding those to our current curriculum maps to make sure that we're hitting all of those standards that can demonstrate that we're doing that. And making sure we're vertically aligned also for tech standards alongside all of our regular classroom standards. So, yeah, that's it. That's what I got for you.
And the high school is adding some electives, right?
Yes, we are. We're adding some marketing and a DECA program with Ms. Young, and we're adding speech and debate and one act play. So that's right offhand what we're adding.
I'm tickled to death about that. Yeah. That's going to be an opportunity for kids that we don't have right now. So that's really cool. Yeah, this group does so they're working hard. We still got still looking for a history teacher that can do a little coaching of some kind, and upper level math teacher, Ms. Kobeck, if you'd like to come back. We're looking for that too. Or really we have the upper
Special ed and math
right here, ready to go.
Ready to go.
Sign up.
Not here.
You just think that sheet you signed back there was just a sign-in sheet, Ms. Beck. We got you now. That's a contract. But no, we'll get it done. There's still folks out there want to come here, so we'll find them.
I might say the daycare
Yes.
is looking at possibly one opening, but maybe full capacity next year. Wow, it's a lot.
A lot of babies. A lot of babies. But we'll discuss the daycare more at a later meeting. But it's a good thing for our teachers. It really is. It's turned out to be a really good thing. On my side of things, and Kylie, you can jump in. So Gilmore, it's they're working in the gym. The jackhammering. They already had the supplies. So we went ahead and did the gym. They're doing a little bit under entrance, aren't they?
The bathrooms.
Yeah, the bathrooms but they were one. She called me one day, and she said the jackhammer was so loud and dust was flying, and so I think she went to Heritage to work, and the custodians. I said, have them go somewhere and help somebody else for a while. So, but they'll have that winded down before school gets going. Then we're gonna pause on the library and about 2 other classrooms to finish.
Yes, in the office area.
Yeah, in the office area. So we're gonna hit the pause button on that. And really, we're just looking at the administration building as, getting everything wound up and getting everything ready to go again. So that's what we do. That's it.
Proposed executive session to discuss the employment and compensation of the following positions for the remainder of the 2023-2024 school year, as well as the 2024-2025 school year, disclosure of which would violate confidentiality requirements of the state or federal law as authorized by 25 OS 307B1. Summer employment, driver's ed, maintenance, and custodians. 5th grade ELA teacher, a cheer coach, high school history teacher, paraprofessional, and employment of support staff, attachment B.
I make a motion that we go into executive session at 8:04.
I'll second.
All those in favor? Motion passes. Kingfisher Board of Education met in executive session on June 3rd, 2024. Board members consisting of Charles Walker, Tony Franks, Dana Goldbeck, and Brad Whitrock entered into executive session at 8:04 p.m. and returned to open session at 8:45 p.m. The matters listed on the board agenda were considered in the executive session. No other matters were discussed. No board action was taken in executive session. Q, discussion possible action on the recommendation for employment of the 2024-2025 new hires, summer employment, driver's ed, TJ Harris, Timothy Winans, and Keaton Cowens, custodians Claudia Carranza, Claudia Green, and Lizette Delatoria. 2, fifth grade ELA teacher Sydney Gerken. 3, cheer coach Daphne Jennings. 4, paraprofessional Nikki Bowling.
I make a motion, we approve. Sorry.
Based on the discussion of what we had, your recommendation is to hire this as presented?
Yes.
Okay.
You wanna, you?
No, go ahead.
Okay, I so moved then.
I'll second.
All those in favor? Motion passes. Discussion, possible action on recommendation to employ support staff for 2024-2025 school year, attachment D.
And I agree with those. I recommend those hires. 3 hires.
That's just the support staff, right? It's an offer of reasonable assurance, right?
I make a motion we approve, R, line R.
I second.
All those in favor? Motion passes. Resignations,
You have a list there, don't you?
Yes.
The only ones out of Hannah Whitrock and Chance
Chance
Nats.
Nats.
There we go.
Yeah,
Chance.
those are listed here.
Yeah.
new business,
None, sir.
announcements,
None, sir.
adjournment.
I make a motion, we adjourn.
I second.
All those in favor? Motion passes.